Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Added Time FPL. Quick turnaround video for you today. It's game week 14 coming up on Tuesday. My name is Nate. This is Mike. And if you're here with us for the first time, welcome. We're so happy that you've chosen to join us. Don't feel free to like and subscribe on the video. And we also have the podcast on Spotify, so be sure to follow us there. But like we said last week, the games are coming quick and fast. It's December, and we've got a deadline day on Thursday. So we're here with a video releasing for you Monday morning so you can have a look and see what we are thinking about. But before we do that, we're fresh off the back of a game week. There's a lot of ups and downs, mostly more downs for me, but we'll get into that. So Mike, tell me what's been happening. How was your game week? Because mine was awful.
I'm just happy that we're doing our midweek special. It's like Brenda Fassi, but not weekend special. It's the midweek special, right?
It's the
But
midweek
this
special.
weekend, just to catch up for what happened this weekend, by weekend I mean today, right? Today,
Yeah,
Liverpool,
literally tonight. Yeah, in
yeah,
the UK.
it's Salah, the consistency king, does it again with his title and Liverpool's title charge. So I don't know if there is anything that can stop the Egyptian king. Oh wait, there is.
A
It's called a contract.
contract.
So we'll
Yeah.
see how that plays out. As for Saka, are you surprised that he's continuing this to be the star
No,
boy of England?
this is one of the headaches that happened for me this game week. You said it earlier while we were talking, is that it's pretty much a guarantee that if Saka's fit, Saka plays, and if Saka plays, Saka scores. Whether it's goals or assists, I mean, he's leading the Premier League with 10 assists. He got 3 on the weekend. So, yeah. I should have listened to my own advice. You kind of listened to my advice, which we'll get into a bit later. Yvonne did always have Saka. Shout out to Yvonne with 92 points this week. Um, Keeping Saka, and it was the play. We should have done it. So,
Yeah, Saka is turning out to be a really influential player and one of the best right wingers in the world. Arsenal
mm,
players will say he is the best right wing in the world, and
mm.
I'm
And
starting
Pep
to.
Guardiola would say that Phil Foden is the best right wing in the world,
I don't know.
but
I don't know what position he plays.
that was just a shot at
He
City.
needs to play bench. But let's talk about a better team instead of Arsenal. What about Chelsea? Back to
Yeah.
the
Look,
not to the top.
I don't have my Chelsea shirt on today because it's a bit of a turnaround. This is not a normal schedule for me. Also, by the way, apologize in advance if the lighting's not great, and that's why I have my headset on because I'm currently redoing my setup. So hopefully next week it'll look better. But
Yeah,
anyway,
because of Black Friday. That's
the
why.
deals, the deals, it's all the deals. Had to sell everything and rebuild and get some good prices.
Speaking about a good deal, it would be Chelsea assets because Chelsea are
I
flying.
agree. I
Speaking of a
agree.
bad deal, 15 million for Haaland. It's starting to look that triple captain was good at the beginning of the
And then it just
season.
hasn't paid off since, has it? It's just been awful. I actually want to quickly just go publicly and apologize to Redwan for you listening to Macau. Because for those of you that don't know, Redwan's a friend of ours in our little WhatsApp chat, and he said, Mike, I should go for Enzo. And Mike said no. I mean, to be fair, I would have said the same thing, but Enzo Fernandez is finally starting to look like that £100 million player that we bought. Um, I mean, in at 4.8 mil for FPL as well. So definitely a good player to watch if he's going to be playing in that half wing and number 10 role.
Yeah, I think shocker, spoiler alert, at 4.8, if he's going to be consistently starting and scoring and attacking Chelsea with the form that he has, he might be a must have. But
Definitely.
speaking of the other Fernandez, United are flying.
Bruno Fernandes. Yeah.
They lost the Dutchman, but they've got the Gru from the Minions there. Amram. He sounds like Gru, but he caught the manager bounce eventually, and they're flying, but they're flying into tough fixtures now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to see.
Marcus Rashford doing what he always does under new management, pretending like he's the number one thing since sliced bread, scoring his goals, but pretty much guarantee it'll fall off soon. But nevertheless,
Yeah,
um,
let's talk about that topic. Let's stay on United for a bit.
mm,
They've had this bounce.
yes,
They're flying,
yes,
but they have tough fixtures.
yes.
We spoke about it last week. Are you thinking that it's worth taking in Fernandez, Ahmed, or Dallo, even though these players have a rough couple of fixtures coming up? If you look at United's fixtures in the next couple of days, they've got Arsenal in the midweek fixture
Mm.
away. They have Forest, which is not easy, but that's at home at least. And then they go to City, a City who are not in a good place, but it's
Yeah,
still a
yeah.
Manchester derby. Are you thinking that we missed the train there, or is it still worth looking at
Yeah,
United?
I kind of wanted to, and you kind of brought me back to earth to remember that it is still United and it is new management, but the easy fixture run has passed. It's not going to be tricky. It's not going to be easy for them. It's going to be quite tricky. I think we give it a game week to decide hey, you know what? Amarim's team under with his United squad, they're cooking. So maybe it's time to move towards some of the assets. But for me personally, Bruno Fernandes at 8.5, I'd rather save the money and go to Saka.
Yeah, I think if you already have Saka, I think if you don't have Haaland, you can use that money to take a risk on Fernandez.
Yeah.
But if you are keeping Haaland, you might want to rather invest in Ahmed because he's flying up there at the right wing, so he's doing
Yeah.
pretty good. And Dallo, I think in a time when I'm looking for a defender, even though he's got tough fixtures, that wing back role might mean that Dallo is a
You've been
player to keep.
saying on our WhatsApp group as well how when Amarin comes, Gallo in that wing back position playing up on that flank is going to be deadly. And I think you're right. I think it's coming soon. So yeah, I'd agree with you. I think Dallo is definitely one of the players to watch for United as well.
Speaking about that Manchester derby coming up in a couple of weeks, what do you have to say about Pep? The fall of Pep? Tell me, what's the sixth thing you were talking about? What happened?
So there's been
Explain to
so
me.
many memes. So apparently, right, Liverpool were chanting "sacked in the morning," and Pep just did this. Mad respect, I guess, showing that he's won 6 league titles with City, um, hinting that he's probably not going to get sacked in the morning. However, Piers Morgan retweeted it and said, "No number of losses that you've lost in a row," uh, which is hilarious because Piers Morgan's also an Arsenal fan, so I guess that's what that is, and it's just become a meme. So yeah, but you got to feel a little bit. Nah, screw them. We
No,
we love their downfall.
no,
But
it's
as a
giving me that.
manager, like,
It's giving me Mourinho vibes. He's like three
yeah,
times
yeah,
vibes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
On top of that, he's right though. Pep's right. If it wasn't for Pep, Liverpool would have won 4 titles.
Yeah,
They would have had 4 titles instead of one.
yeah,
Pep
yeah, yeah.
single-handedly stopped them.
Single-handedly, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, because
Oh,
Holland only came there for like 2 years. Been there for last year. Yeah. So as far as City goes, let's just quickly touch on this Haaland topic because you made the decision to move on from Haaland. I kept Haaland. Um, it didn't really matter for me, to be honest, because the majority of forwards blanked, and those that didn't were the differentials, and I managed to have one. Thank you, Strand Lawson. And you took him out, and he didn't hurt you anyway because he didn't score. So that being said, don't think I think Haaland's become a bit of a differential now. I don't think he's a must-have anymore.
no, with the money that's available and the players that are
The midfield,
popping
the
up
midfield is
everywhere,
where the money. The midfield is where the points are. That's where it
I
is.
think Saka, Salah, and Palmer are definite. And if you need to move on Haaland to afford those three, I think
It's
you
the
have
way.
to.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
like
think
it.
the time has moved now where you have to make a decision.
Yeah,
You're either staying with Haaland or you're leaving him. And if you stay with him, you're gonna have to live with that and stay with him for the rest of the season. And if you're gonna move him on, you should have moved him on like 6 weeks ago. But last week was like this is your last chance. Like just move him on. Like
yeah.
move on with your life.
Haaland. For those of you who don't know, I'm sure you do. If you have Haaland in your team because you're looking at the fixtures, praying that he does something. They're playing Nottingham Forest at the Etihad. You would think it's an easy fixture, but as Mike alluded to while we were chatting, not really, because Forest are kind of on some sort of they're on a good run. They're playing good football, and they beat Liverpool. It's the only loss Liverpool had this season. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But
I
I don't
think
think
what
you will be upset if you move Haaland.
Yeah, I think either or right now. It depends what you do with that money and get the most out of it, right? Even if Haaland does score, he's less likely to score big right now because they're in free fall. And
Quick,
one player that is also in free
mm,
fall is
yeah,
Mbuemo. I
yeah,
think the big move this week was Buemo out. Whether you kept him for Leicester, we were touting maybe even captain him. He got nothing in that big match that they got,
yeah.
and now he's got his bad fixture. So I think he already dropped in price, and he's probably going to drop again
There
if
was a
everyone's
bit
going to
of there
move
was a
him
bit
out.
of controversy around that game. Um, Gordon got an assist in the Palace game for Gurhey on goal, but he wasn't the intended target. Same thing happened with the Mbuemo situation. I'm not sure if some of you know about this, but Shady scored and Mbuemo was involved, but it wasn't an intended target. So he should have got the assist, but he didn't because it wasn't, but Gordon did. It's a whole dilemma. Anyway, I'll take what I can get, so I'm salty about it. It's fine. Wisa, however, did score something. So that Wisa and Mbuemo topic is coming back. I don't think it's Mbuemo anymore. I think if you do go with anyone, it's Wisa. However, I'm going to throw a curveball in the works. Is it Wisa or is it Jackson?
Well, let's move it to Chelsea because Chelsea are a team that you should be looking to. Their fixtures coming up
Yeah,
include
I thought they put up the Christmas tree in FPL when I opened their green fixtures.
yeah, one red,
Literally.
yeah, tree with one red topping on there, one red tinsel. Southampton, Spurs away, and let's be honest, if you're a Chelsea fan, you assume we win that game.
Mhm.
Brentford, Everton, Fulham, Ipswich, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, and Wolves. And we end January with a visit to City.
It's like an
This
advent
run
calendar
takes
of
us.
green fixtures.
This takes us all the way to the end of January, and the only fixture that I would say in there that is going to be tricky is the City one. And right now, I wish we were
I
playing
really
City
back us
now.
to win. Yeah,
I wish we were
yeah,
playing them now, not the end of
yeah,
Jan.
exactly.
But it's which players are you thinking about? Now we already hinted already. Tell me about the big one. You saying Jackson? I think you have a better player than Jackson to bring up.
Yeah,
I have Jackson.
Enzo Fernandez. Yeah, I just think he's. We spoke about it a little bit at the start, but like 4.8 million, and he's playing. He's going to start, and he's not playing a number six. He's not playing a box to box, kinda, but he's definitely attacking, and he's not just attacking. He's actually getting returns.
That's because everyone's marking Cole Palmer and
Exactly.
leaving him free because they think he's rubbish. And he has been rubbish, let's be fair.
I
But
also wouldn't mark
given the
Enzo
space,
Fernandez.
whoa, given
Yeah,
the space, he's pulling the strings. All of a sudden, we see in the Enzo Fernandez, they cost 100 million.
that this is the thing, and I think he's the perfect player to bring on for a Rogers or a Smith Rowe. It saves you money. He's a guaranteed starter, and he's in a premium squad. Like, come on.
Think about that, Nate. Just let it sink in. He's over 100 million
And he's
in real
4.8 on
life.
FPL.
And he's only 4.8 on FPL. When have you ever seen anything
uh,
like that?
not even Haaland is that. Haaland was like 40 mil or something ridiculous like that. Anyway,
Yeah. So,
um,
but Cole Palmer's still cooking for us, right?
yeah. Thank you, Cole Palmer, for your insane goal. I don't even think Emilio Martinez would have saved that. So fair play to Olsen for trying. But yeah, man. Unlucky. He could have got two had it not been for that amazing free kick in the penalty box that I've never witnessed in my entire life
Yeah, it was a fire
in
game, man.
live.
Good to
That was
watch the first
crazy.
half.
Um,
Um,
so yeah, Palmer's still the one. We captain him. Me and Mike both captain him. So that was very nice. A little joint win. When
yeah, I was putting out fire. I was not putting out fire. I was starting fires online, and I was raving on Arsenal fans. I was raving on Aston Villa fans. I was telling them, "Oh, watch this game. Palmer's gonna score," and it turned out that
there's
he
a
missed. So
someone Cole Palmer himself joined you in that banter because there was a Snapchat that he posted a screenshot of Morgan Rogers telling Cole Palmer that he's not scoring against Villa, and Morgan Rogers sending a photo of Cole Palmer getting body blocked by Morgan Rogers, only for Cole Palmer to send a screenshot and a photo of the play of the match trophy onto his Instagram story. So I mean, the man's just cold. You
and
gotta love him.
remember, there is more than just that because Morgan Rogers is rumored to be the person who came up with the celebration.
Oh wow, there
Right?
you go.
So he kind of started it, but Palmer took it on, did it once. They
Yeah.
kept scoring,
I
and he
heard
didn't
Steph,
keep doing
like
it.
random tangent. I heard Steph Curry also used to do it, and people
Yeah,
were like, "Oh, Steph Curry used to do this first," and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, cool." But Palmer made it famous, so tough shit. Anyway, I
but
want
yeah,
to ask you, yeah,
yeah. Ask.
no. I just wanted to quickly ask you if we're talking about these cheap players. Ahmad, quickly, 4.9 mil as well from United. Is he in the same category as Enzo Fernandez?
He is in terms of potential output. He's like there's pros and cons. Ahmed is probably more likely to start because I trust that Amarim's going to start him consistently, right? Because he
Mm,
seems to be an Amarim type of player.
mm,
But the fixtures aren't in his favor.
yeah.
Okay. Chelsea, Enzo, he has started the last two Premier League games. Will he keep starting or will he have a dud performance? We lose against Southampton and then we go back to Enzo to the B team. I don't know how to predict that.
Right.
But his ceiling is much higher in terms of he's playing up front for a team that's got green fixtures all through Christmas. He's hitting a rich frame of form. And if we keep playing him in this false 10 position, as coined by Nate,
False
then
10. There we go.
then I think Enzo pips him for value for money over
Yeah.
this Christmas period. I
Yeah.
think I think Enzo I'd have in my starting team, and I'd have Ahmed on my bench
Hmm. Okay.
because of the fixtures.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
I'll back it.
Now,
And that's not just
Nate,
because I'm a Chelsea fan, but
tell me about your team. Like what
yeah.
what happened to your team this week? Because a lot
Okay.
of people beat you, including me. right?
Yeah, Yvonne closed the gap by 10 freaking points. So yeah, just stay Mauritius. No, I'm joking. Yeah, midweek fixtures. Okay, sorry, team. Before we talk about midweek fixtures. Okay, so I had the suggestion to move Mbuemo to Saka. Great idea. In hindsight, like, did you do it? No. Did everyone else in your mini league do it? Yes. So everyone else in the mini league has like 80, 90 points. And yeah, there's little on Nate, 66. So that was a big mistake for me this week. I should have just did it. I was holding out for the Leicester fixture. I should have just backed Saka.
And the
Um,
transfer you did do in Pedro, was it worthwhile?
no, shut up. I don't want to talk about that.
So just yeah, so that
So
Pedro
basically,
one.
Pedro's hauled for 2 weeks, and then I did the classic. Oh, let me get this man. Guess what? Blanks.
Yeah,
So
one of my
don't chase
favorite
the
songs
points.
is called "Chasing Cars" by Snow Patrol, but you were
It's
chasing
chasing
points.
Pedro's in by UK Winter Patrol. Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you did make one good decision a few weeks ago that paid off
Strand
today.
Larson. Yeah. Everyone had
Cunha
Cunha.
blanks.
I had Strand Larson. So that was my pro of the week. Obviously Captain Palmer as well, and having Salah still works, but Strand Larson helped me save that game week with 11 points. Mike,
Okay,
why
and
don't you rub it in and tell me how great your game week went? I'm so
okay,
excited.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Okay, I took a -4, and I brought in Jackson, and I also because we were talking about Saka, and I trust this guy here because his rank is so high.
Before
So
you
I
carry
brought.
on to that, I just have to say, because I just saw it now, both my Pedros blanked. Just saying. Never mind. Moving on. Jao Pedro and Pedro Porro. Okay, moving on. My advice, you were doing? Saka?
Saka in was a move. Like if you didn't have Saka this game week, you're sitting there looking at his three assists, going, "Why didn't I have Saka?" So you're a sucker. If
Yeah.
you didn't have Saka, you're a sucker. So
You're a
sorry, Nate.
Saka.
So Saka in, but I made the mistake of bringing Saka in for Johnson instead of Saka in
Oh,
for Mbuemo.
yeah.
I could have scored an extra 10 points, but that's if I listen. Like I listened to Nate, but I only half listened to him. The
And
moral of the
at least you're
story
not
is
like me, bro. I don't listen to me.
you don't even
So,
listen to yourself, man.
yeah.
You do listen to yourself. You just do it a week late,
Yeah.
or 2 weeks too early in license.
So
In
what have we
license case.
learned from this game week, Mike? What's the moral of the story?
Yeah, listen to Nate. This is the moral of the story, and listen to him now, not next week or 2 weeks ago. But yeah, so I did have a good week, and I think Jackson, you're on a bit of a Jackson train, but I think our conversation about Enzo might be pulling you in that direction, or do you still
Yeah.
think Jackson is the move?
I it's I really want to maximize my Chelsea assets because, like we were saying, the fixture run, and they were playing really well. Like we dominated Villa, and we kept a clean sheet. Our first of the season, mind you. Well, our first at Stamford Bridge, I should say.
That's because Watkins was rubbish, and not because Sanchez was any good. But yeah,
No,
okay.
I still back Jorgensen. But anyway, no, but like other than that, like I know Villa had their counter attacking long ball presses, which is the only way they could get behind us. Caicedo, Lavia, and Enzo Fernandez, and Cucurella. My word, Cucurella is a machine. They couldn't break us down. Chelsea's squad, Maresca has cooked something, and I think you need to use two or three of those Chelsea players in your team, like genuinely. So if I can't afford Jackson, I might be moving to Enzo and having Enzo on the bench. So the move that I might be looking for this week is Mbuemo out and Brendan and Morgan Rogers out for Enzo Fernandez and Bukayo Saka. That's kind of what I'm leaning
Ooh.
towards this week.
Yeah, I think Saka you have to do. Enzo is a maybe. The only concern I have about Enzo for me is that does he play this midweek fixture or does he get rested because it's a
Hmm.
midweek fixture and we play our B team as Chelsea? But at the same time, I need
It's
to
Morgan
move
Rogers
Mbuemo
as well,
out.
though. That's the other thing. It's like he's not really been doing anything either. Both Morgan Rogers and Enzo Fernandez start. Both of them playing that false 10, or Morgan Rogers more of a 10, but they're both playing the same position. He's cheaper and he can be bench fodder. So, I mean, I don't really see a super downside other than me moving to him to start him. So, but yeah,
Yeah. For me, I think Enzo Fernandez is a decent pick for my Buemo because I can't think of anyone to bring in for Buemo. So if Nate's saying Enzo is
Enzo's
the
the
move,
pick.
I think it's time for me to actually listen to him and
And
take up
obviously, do
Buemo.
this and keep this in mind. He may not play this week because Maresca does have a midweek team that he likes to play.
But as the transfer for the whole of December,
But as a transfer for the whole December, you're not doing it for Southampton. You're doing it for the rest of the week, or the rest of the month. So Yeah.
So I think it's a good one. But Nate, just quickly before we move on to this midweek and captain choices, like what defenders am I supposed to target? Because I'm looking at my team and I have no defenders. Looking at other people's teams and they either have the premiums or they don't have anybody. And Cunha's are not. I mean, um, the Aldnoris are not scoring anymore. Luka Dean's not doing the things.
I've been
Like
thinking
what
about this.
defender?
I've been thinking about it, and I formulated the perfect opinion. Right. What does every defender say wins titles? Clean
What?
sheets. Clean sheets win
Yeah,
titles.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Who's first?
Liverpool. And
Liverpool are.
Konati's injured.
Do I know he is injured, but Virgil van Dijk is still there and fit. He's premium. He's the new Gabriel. Maybe not because Gabriel scores more than Virgil. But anyway, I would be looking at a. If you don't have Haaland in your team specifically, I'd be looking at Virgil van Dijk or Gabriel. 6 mils, both premium players. I don't want to say I back Liverpool, but it's very hard to see Liverpool throw in this lead. And I think if Liverpool can sustain this lead throughout Christmas, pretty much their title, which means Van Dijk's your man. Same way with Arsenal's contention last year, where it was Raya and Gabriel. It's the same thing now. I think it's Van Dijk and Kelleher slash Allison.
But
Although, so I don't know, Liverpool have just signed a 40 million goalkeeper, so who knows what's happening to Kelleher.
the problem is Virgil is 6.4 and Trent is 6.9. There's only a zero point 0.5 difference between the two, and also only an 8-point difference in their totals
So do you
points
do?
for the season.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I would personally say Trent for the attacking returns. If you want to save the money and be safe, Van Dijk for the clean sheet returns because Liverpool are actually pretty solid right now.
I I say Virgil over Trent because Trent's leaving to Real Madrid at the end of the season.
And
My is
Salah is
my
probably
guess.
as well. Who knows? But yeah,
So
so
I agree. So
VVD.
you say we go a full premium defense. We go Virgil and we go
Well,
Gabriel.
this is the thing, right? You don't have Haaland in your team, and you've got all the expensive midfielders you could possibly have. So that leaves defenders. I'm not going to spend 5.5 on a goalkeeper. I'd rather spend it on a mid outfield player that can at least try and do something. So yeah, VVD or Gabriel for me.
So why not both?
Because I don't have the money because I still have Holland, but you can.
Okay, you've answered my defender question, and that's great. I think the problem is if you're going to say the top three teams in the league right now in terms of form would be Chelsea, Liverpool, and Arsenal, but I wouldn't trust the Chelsea defender as far as I can throw myself. So
I agree. I like Cole and Cucurella. Yes, I could probably trust Cucurella with my life. I could probably, I was going to say wife, but then I thought John Terry, so maybe not. But Sanchez is definitely not anyone to trust. So do not trust Chelsea clean sheets because it does not happen often.
okay, well, before we wrap this up, let's just remind everybody midweek fixtures. Okay, the deadline is
Tuesday,
on Tuesday.
6 p.m.
Tuesday.
UK, sometime around lunch in the morning in Canada because you have 15 different time zones.
Yeah, sometime between like 10 a.m. and
And
2
midday lunch.
p.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
somewhere in there. But yes, you got to be
Don't forget
guys. This is the part of the season that separates the people who are
the
playing the game
noobs.
properly, yeah, from the people who are just casual. Because a couple of seasons ago, I would have completely forgot about this deadline because I wasn't that serious. So if you are serious and don't want to like lose ground with your friends and you want to try and keep up, or
Mhm.
sometimes
I
just
mean,
a nice thing
I
to
sent
do.
a WhatsApp message on Friday just to say, guys, remember this deadline tonight, and I don't think half the people realized, and that was a Friday
Yeah,
deadline. So now don't forget, deadline is on Tuesday. You guys got to make
yeah.
the changes, got to lock them in.
Yeah, before we talk about captains, what's the one fixture this week that you're looking at? Because this week we got a couple of big fixtures. Is there anything, if you look at the calendar, is there anything that stands out to you?
Always Chelsea, especially midweek, because are they going to play the bomb squad? No one knows. So
Some kind of suicide squad.
we have to think about that. But the one I'm looking forward to the most is, unfortunately, not unfortunately, actually, it is quite unfortunate, is the Man City game purely because of my captaincy choice, which is a hell of a gamble. But we'll get to that. Other than that, the fight for relegation.
Yeah, I think that Everton Wolves game is going to be a kind of a blank out. So I'm thinking Altnori might get some points because I know that they both need to win that game. So they also both need to not lose.
Hmm.
So I think they'll play defensively this portion of the stadium, the season. But the problem is that Man United and Liverpool are both playing big games away from home,
Hmm.
Newcastle and Arsenal. So you got four big guns. They potentially could block themselves out of returns, which means I don't know where the points are coming from this week. If I was going to target one game that I think is going to have points, I think it may be that Brentford versus Villa game
Mm.
because Brentford are high scoring and
And
Villa
Villa's
seem
shaky as
completely all
hell.
over the
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know if I was going
Had
to put
had
him in a
Haaland
game.
scored this past week, I would have said Haaland's the up and down captaincy choice, and he would have probably the most points. But we just don't know anymore.
Yeah, well, let's talk about captains. Who's your number one captain choice this week?
All right,
Number one.
number one captain, safest pick, although difficult, Mohamed Salah,
He's the safest pick. He's the
100%.
sit and forget.
It's just the way it is.
If
Yeah,
I could go back in time, I'd tell myself to captain Salah and leave it there the whole season.
Monty McFly, that shit.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And so for me, Salah's the safest, and you agree as well. Um, I'd say there's three potential picks. The second one would be Saka, great form. Uh, Tough fixture against United, but they are playing at home at the Emirates. So, like we said earlier, if Saka's playing, he probably gets
I
probably
used
gets
to think
points. So
I used to think that Man United would have the edge on Arsenal always. However, this Arsenal team are quite defiant,
mm,
and Saka may pull them through this one. So if it's going to be like, is Rashford going to score a brace or is Saka going to score a brace?
I back Saka to score the brace.
Yeah, I'd back Saka this
Yeah.
time around. Even though Rashford's coming hot off scoring 2 goals, that Rashford Fiesta's back.
The third one is a bit of a 50, maybe like 60-40 because it's a midweek fixture and we don't know Maresca's plans, but it's Cole Palmer. He would obviously be a good shout to captain. It is Southampton. They don't have the best defensive record. They are playing at Southampton though, but that doesn't surprise Chelsea because we beat Bournemouth 1-0. Yep, yep. However, and a lot of people don't realize this, and I'm telling you guys now because you have the luck and the privilege to witness Chelsea fans doing a podcast. Maresca rotates his team, guys. It's a midweek fixture, and Maresca is going to rotate his team. Those of you bringing in Jackson and Enzo now for this game week, it's a mistake. And you can clip this because I'm happy to eat my words because I don't think I will because I genuinely think he's going to rotate his team.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we're seeing Kuku possibly start this game.
Palmer
Jackson's
come off on the
rested.
bench, maybe even like
Yeah.
I don't think he plays 90 minutes. I don't think he plays 90 minutes.
Yeah, if he
Keep him
might
fit
not
for the
even
Spurs
start.
game. Yeah.
So yeah, Palmer is definitely one to keep an eye on. But I think it's the type of game where we might want to see a second string start that game. Rest Palmer for the big game on the weekend, which is
Exactly.
against Spurs, which we definitely want to win. But you haven't mentioned your captain,
And
so
then we
let's end
go.
off with the big news. Who is Nate captaining this week, everybody?
My
Who is the
current captain is Erling Braut Haaland. It's actually Haaland, apparently. But anyway, yeah, the Norse Viking himself. I said to myself, you know what, Nate? You've kept him for this long. You may as well captain the guy. I honestly, no one else has him. I mean, people still have him, but significantly less people have him. Which means that if I do captain him, all those people that moved away from him are going to fall way behind me. And I could totally see a Haaland brace. And then he'll do like this because Pep did this. Or Haaland might do this because he'll score 6 goals. Who knows? But yeah, for me, it's going to be Haaland. It's one of the very few moments in this history of Premier League. I say history of Premier League, but Haaland's only been here for 2 years. In Haaland's history in the Premier League, where he's not actually a shout of a captain and more of a differential.
Yeah, I understand your logic, but for
I know it's
me,
flawed, but
I
leave me
don't
alone.
I don't have
Let
him,
me
so
cook.
I can't do anything. And I think
Yeah,
he
that's
might
the thing.
score.
People that don't have Haaland literally can't do anything. If I captain any halls, you just sit there and say, "Well, shit, good job." Like
I'd be on the couch during the game. I just think that Haaland has been humbled
too
by
many times.
life, and since he
Yeah.
told Arteta to stay
I mean,
humble.
to be fair to him, he had the like he was arrogant with the humble comment.
He
He
threw the ball
transferred his goal
against.
powers to Gabriel. Yeah, he had like shameful as well. He had his best friend, his mentor, like father figure person, I guess, pass away as well, which is also tough. So he's not having the greatest of years. But I mean, he scored a hat trick midweek. It didn't carry through to the weekend, so hopefully he can pick it back up with a midweek hat trick because he likes to score midweek. So maybe that's the
He
key.
scored the goals in midweek, but he didn't win the game. So
Yeah,
he didn't finish that.
you know
He
what?
almost got a hat
In a
trick.
perfect world for Haaland owners, he scores, but City lose. That's what we want. That's what we want as football fans. Come on, like as
No, they needed to beat Liverpool and they didn't. So
yeah,
now they
no.
can just lose.
I would just hope that
Pep can get,
Liverpool lose as Chelsea fans. But
Pep can get fired. But anyways, I think we're done. I think that's it. I think we're ready for the midweek
the
special.
midweek turnaround, yep. Don't forget tomorrow night, 6 p.m. UK. Convert that to whatever time zone you want, but that is the deadline. Don't forget to make your changes. Do you have any final words for the audience as they
No, I
go into the
just
midweek fixture?
enjoy the midweek fixture, enjoy the festive season, and remember this key word: rotation is
Ooh,
going to happen,
depth.
which means your bench depth needs to be there. So if you are making changes, keep in mind that you want to have players in your. Now is not the time to have Barco and Hardwing
Oh,
Belly.
oh,
Okay,
with Bellas, yeah, no, 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 no. We need depth. We
leave
need depth.
you need depth on your bench, and that's why players like Enzo and Ahmed and Aina and anyone you can think of that's a decent price that's playing for a team that's not doing too badly defensively, you might want to throw those guys on your bench. So look out for those differentials.
There we go. As always, may the points be ever in your favor. We will see you probably towards the end of next week because we have another game week 15 on the weekend. I love it. I love it. I know it's intense, but the football, just give me as much football as we can. So just enjoy it. Like Mike said, just enjoy watching. Don't beat yourself up too much about it. You have Christmas presents to look forward to. So if you have crappy points, Santa won't just leave you pointless, hopefully. But
I just
we'll
want
see.
a green arrow for Christmas. Okay.
It's all I want for Christmas is a green arrow. Is that so much to ask? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video once again. Share it with your friends so you can too expand the knowledge, or don't because you're selfish and you want to keep the knowledge for yourself. Either one is cool. But nevertheless, let us know down below in the comments what your team is, who you captain. Do you think Haaland's a good idea? Mike, I assume you're going for Salah. Do you think Salah's a good idea? Maybe Mike's going to cook something. He'll let us know. We'll see. I don't like that face. Maybe he's captain Enzo Fernandez. Who knows?
I was thinking that.
I know, it's sneaky. This guy.